Welcome back, everyone. Are you as heartbroken as I am? So let's get into the details of the decline of Sinchon. So if you've been to Sinchon recently, you might have noticed it doesn't look as vibrant and as full of life and shops and students as it used to. The article cites the first call of decline as the closure of Krispy Kreme in Sinchon. I didn't know this, but apparently that was the first Krispy Kreme in Korea back in 2004. So it had quite a reputation. And then in 2017, it closed down. Then, of course, we had the pandemic where a lot of areas, sort of died off. Stores moved out, closed down, everyone was off the streets. But then post-pandemic, many areas have seen a resurgence, like Myeongdong, for example, right near Jongno office where I work, is thriving again, packed with stores and tourists and new places opening and street food and everything. But this has failed to materialize in Sinchon. It still kind of looks a bit like a ghost town. There's many, empty lots, empty shops there with signs and boarded up on the windows. I guess the businesses have not been returning. As the article suggests, this might be something to do with the high rent. Landlords seem to be hanging on, convinced that they can find people who will pay the high prices when maybe there are other local cheaper options that businesses are choosing to move to post-pandemic. Areas like Mangwon and Yeonnam are much more sort of up and coming, considered much cooler, and they have cheaper rents. So why not open your student-focused store, bar, restaurant, or other business in those areas instead? So the future remains to be seen. Will the landlords finally drop those prices, or will there just be a new hip and trendy student area rather than Sinchon? So I will be sad though if that happens. So obviously Hongdae is thriving post-pandemic, but Sinchon is not. Have you visited both of these places? If so, could you compare the neighborhoods? How would you describe the experiences?
Well, as you said, and as I said a little bit in part one, I've been to Sinchon, I just don't remember much of it. And that's probably one of the biggest differences. I remember Hongdae pretty well. I definitely feel the atmosphere there is younger, and I may not fit in that anymore. So I do travel to the side area, Yeonnam, and even though that is also younger, it has full of like wonderful little shops and cafes and stuff that I love to go to. But Hongdae, it's still popping, and Sinchon is not. Now, like you've lived there and you've been to Hongdae, so you know more, I'm guessing.
I don't really know, but my guess is it's something to do with layout. Like I think that Hongdae has that. There's a couple of very clear sort of main streets where you can find things easily, and I suppose there are some sort of side streets, but it's very easy to navigate and very logical. But Sinchon has this main high street, but most of the interesting stuff that is still open is not on that. You have to sort of go off onto the sort of side block, and it's all in little roads, a bit more hidden away, a bit more tucked away, so perhaps it's just less obvious. The layout of the location might have something to do with it. It's my theory. I don't really know though.
If people have a hard time, they're not going.
Yes, we all want it easy and cheap these days. So how do people typically choose their meeting spots for group activities or social events in your country, in America?
Back in my day, and probably these days as well, people will brainstorm and debate until they find a place that everyone can compromise on. However, I think it has kind of pushed into the social media realm a lot now. People are really looking at hashtags and videos that they're watching, or pictures that they're seeing, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube as it could be, to find places that they think are a bit more hip, more trendy, or places that they kind of want to go see. And so because of that, I think that different locations will suddenly become quite busy and suddenly lose all their traffic as well. But in the end, people are looking for a good time. So as long as they can find that, then they're going to be going back to those areas. But yeah, I think it's really pushing towards social media these days. Back in my day, it was just like, hey, you guys want to do this? Well, I lived in a smaller town too. So it wasn't like there was like a social media, oh, this spot is great and this spot isn't. It's like, here's that one spot you have.
The spot. Yeah.
And you can go there or not. Yeah, it's quite easy for us.
I do like the simple, when there's only one option on the menu, that's the one you're having.
Correct, yeah.
Anyway, so don't flounder around trying to choose a place to hang out. First, rekindle your love of English and jump down to the vocab section. There's a lot of really cool ones in there today, but don't drag your feet. Time is of the essence. Anyway, I'll stop quoting them and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Old stomping ground.
Old stomping ground.
Concur.
Concur.
Casualty.
Casualty.
Flounder.
Flounder.
Rekindle.
Rekindle.